Chaim Livracha. I'm not muted, right? By the way,
We can hear you.
I heard Rabbi Gurari, and I remember that many, many years ago, Rabbi Gurari used to say that his mashpia is my mother-in-law, Alea Shalom, is Mrs. Deren. And people looked at him like, what do you mean? He say, she is my wife's mashpia. And if she's my wife's mashpia, she's my mashpia. That's the power of your ladies. So l'chaim v'livracha again. The Hayom Yom, the Rebbe is telling us, livracha can be translated, explained as lev raka, a soft heart. We can accomplish a lot more in chinuch with lev raka, livracha, chesed, than with anything else, particularly in our time. Avodas chinuch is avodas kodesh. There are two main differences between Inyan Kedusha to the Lehumat Zeh. In Kedusha, we can achieve only with much hard work. If it comes easy, it's ain't Kedusha. It's the other side. So let's not get discouraged that Chinuch comes with hard work. We know that it's Kedusha. Another thing is, another difference between Kedusha and Lehumat is that in Kedusha, it's everlasting. As I explain to my students that, you get yourself a new something, and it's not bad. It's not opposite of Kedusha. It's Lehumat. And after a while, it's nothing special. When it comes to Kedusha, it's everlasting, and it gets more and more. You say like the differences between Arei Chag that was bought by the Korbanos and Yontef, that was to represent the nations of the world, it gave less and less. It was pochet ve'olech. It was Lehumat Zeh. When it comes to Neiros Chanukah, which is Kedusha, it goes Mosif ve'olech, Malin b'kodesh. So in general, when we keep this concept in mind, we know that, yep, it's hard work, it's everlasting. Sometimes we don't see it. The first or second grade teachers don't see the fruits right away. It might be the 12th grade teachers that see the fruits, etc. But it's long lasting. A mechaneches is a mashpia. When Rabbi Shlomo Chaim Kesselman, that used to be a mashpia in Tomchit Mimim in Kfar Chabad, he passed away. There was a very strong need to fill in the void that he left. Reb Mendel Futterfass at that time was in one of his trips to plant Ruchnias and collect Gashmias. He was actually fundraising for a Russian Jewry, where he got an unexpected call from the Rebbe's Maskiris to asking him to come to New York. So in Yechidus, the Rebbe asked Reb Mendel if he sees himself fit to be a mashpia in Tomchit Mimim in Kfar Chabad. Reb Mendel, knowing the awesome responsibility of a mechanech as a mashpia, he didn't think he can do it, particularly when the Rebbe was asking him, so he figured the Rebbe wasn't demanding of him or telling him he needs to do it. But we know the Rebbe was a gentleman. He usually tried to suggest rather than demand. But the Rebbe wanted Reb Mendel to do it without any hesitation. Therefore, he didn't demand. He rather spent a lot of time explaining and convincing Reb Mendel the great need and his ability to do it. For a while, the Rebbe spoke to Reb Mendel about the great milas of students of Tomchit Mimim, basically a great milas of student of the Rebbe's Moised. And as the Rebbe reviewing their praise while talking to Reb Mendel, the Rebbe used a lashon that the Talmidim of the Moised of the Rebbe are yekarim shebayekarim, the dearest of the dear, the dear of the dearest. Talking about the Talmidim of Tomchit Mimim, the Rebbe continued and told him that they are full of energy and they are prepared to give themselves over to Inyan Kedusha They just need a mashpia, mechanechet, to assign them, to teach them, to educate them. The Rebbe said, when Reb Mendel was sharing this Yechidus, he said that at one point the Rebbe stopped, and with a hand motion, he was talking about the students of Tomchei Mimim, with a hand motion, he, with his holy hand, he said, and un efsher ve'ulai kulam, possibly that I'm talking about every single student, all of them. We, all of us, have to remind ourselves that we are working with diamonds. The Rebbe's Lashon, Yekar Shebayekarim. Rav Levi Yitzchak Miberdichov, which was known to be Melamed Zchus on every person, when he saw someone, when Rav Levi Yitzchak Miberdichov saw somebody fixing a wagon while he was davening, he turned to the Eibishter and said, Eibishter, look, even when they're fixing their wagons, they're davening, etc. So just another point about the way we should look at our students and our Talmidos. Rabbi Yitzchak Miberdichov translates the pasuk, Kadesh li kol bechor peter rechem ibnei Israel ba'adam u'b'ema lihu. And he's saying, kol bechor, that call everything, every beginning. The first and most important thing when it comes to education or to relationship with other Yidden is a love to every Jew. What does it get the word love? Kadesh li kol bechor rechem. Rechem is the word love in Aramaic. And then the pasuk continue, Mibnei Israel ba'adam u'vave'ema. If she acts like, we have an obligation to love, respect, and love again our students. If he or she acts like a mensch, like an Adam, or chas v'shalom like a be'ema, you love her should not be affected because of their act or their behavior. Because the way Rabbi Levi Yitzchak continues and explains this pasuk, if she acts like a behema, chas v'shalom, lihi, it is mine. It is my problem, say Hashem, not yours. It's between Hashem and that student. It shouldn't affect your relationship. It should not affect of how you feel about the person. Another chassid, if we're in the middle of a Hasidic Farbrengen, and what a Hasidic Farbrengen can accomplish, even Malach Gabriel cannot accomplish. So Reb Mechiel der Alter, he was a melamed in Tomchei Mimim. Once, while he was in the middle of Shema, he noticed a shoemaker walking into the room, and with a hand motion, he pointed to one of his students that was, what was his name? One of his students' shoes was completely ripped. And he pointed to, and he was in the middle of Shema. Of course, after davening, people ask him, how is it possible, while you're davening, in the middle of Shema, you're paying attention to the ripped shoe? Like, that's the shoe. So, what do you think Echad means? Asked Michal. When you say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, when you can tell if the, when can you tell if the Echad, the Yichud HaIlah, penetrates into you? Only if you can't rest until the other person's shoe will be fixed. In our case, the Chanchos, if our kids' Gashmius will be taken care of. So love and care for your students is point number one. And if sometimes it's a little bit hard because you think like you should know better if they're older, etc. We have to remember that b'makom sheretzono shel Adam shamu nimtza. Where a person will is, that's where he is. our students' neshamas are all in the right place. So no matter what, even if at that moment they're not doing exactly what they need to do, their neshamas, their ratzon, the main things, the neshama is in the right place, which means that's where they are. Our focus as mechanchos, besides love, is on a long-term goal. As Rabbi Gurari mentioned before, people that will establish Jewish homes, generations of generations. When you look at it this way, so the nitty-gritty details, if they don't work exactly the way you plan it and the way you want it, will survive because you're thinking long-term what's my goal is. When Reb Mendel Futerfas was in labor camp in Siberia, he sat with famous criminals that actually they learned to respect Reb Mendel and trusted him. They even respected him for being a man of principles. Those of us who knew Reb Mendel Futerfas, he was a strong man of principles. He sat in Siberia for a while for helping Yidden to escape Russia. But so the criminals, the high Russian criminals that sat with him, really respected him. And one time, and he says they were talking secrets amongst themselves. They didn't worry that Reb Mendel is going to hear their secrets. They were sitting trying to plan an escape from prison. And each expressed their opinion and discussion, all the possibilities, all the challenges in the escape mission. Their desire to break free was so strong that they were prepared to take a high risk for the chance of freedom. And it was a high risk because it was cold, there was high snow, the next village was far away. This discussion was concluded by one of the respected prisoners saying, only if a topographic map of the area is engraved in your soul, that's what the prisoner was saying, the ways, the direction, completely clear to you, then and only then you can try to escape. And there is a chance that you will succeed. There is a chance you can help your student to reach their true freedom, to escape from their challenges. When we as a mechanchos have a very clear vision of the direction, the roads, the map of where we are taking them. As we mentioned, love your student, care for them, feel it, the relationship, clear focus in very clear term of what's the goal, believe in your students, do it all b'simcha, because b'simcha tetzeyun, through simcha, Reb Mendel has a whole farbrengen about that for another time. Through simcha, you can go out through our limitation or through our trouble or through our difficulties. So it's not always to walk into a classroom and be b'simcha. It's from little things, because the kids kept me up the whole night, to other much greater challenges that somebody is not well, etc. We need to leave everything out behind the door, because simcha will help our children want to do and want to emulate us and want to be like us or what like we want to teach them. In the end of that yechidus, I'm going to conclude with that now, and then we'll have to bring about this another time, and each one can contemplate about it. By the end of that yechidus, the Rebbe convinced Reb Mendel to do it, and he gave him a special bracha. That special bracha can serve such a clear aura for us all. The Rebbe told Reb Mendel, as a mashpia, as a mechanech, you should know, I'll say it in Hebrew and then I'll translate, את מה שצריך לומר, למי שצריך לומר, כפי שצריך לומר, ומתי צריך לומר. Which the Rebbe told Reb Mendel, we as mechanchos should know what we need to say, not all at once. The Rebbe did not translate. I was contemplating that on it. do it for a long time, but think of what you need to say. And I'm adding, doesn't mean you have to say everything at one time. למי שצריך יאמר, you talking to יקרים שביקרים, dearest שבdearest, כפי שצריך, as needed, like with the right balance of chesed and gvura, ומתי שצריך. Time is a key factor. The time, the way you prepare to talk to your student, the time that your student prepared to hear. So again, l'chaim v'livracha, we should have a schus and the brachas to be able to connect and help each one of our students.